everyone. I have a very special guest with me today. A dear friend of mine, Michelle, is here to get ready with me, and we're going to be using Seint makeup. So Michelle is a Seint artist. Michelle and I go back many years. We worked together, and a funny story on how we really connected is we used to go to the gym early in the morning at work, and there's this long counter, and we'd sit there and get ready, and all of a sudden she brings out this big
I think our products just took over the entire counter.
It did. We couldn't share. Nobody could stand next to us and get ready because we had all our makeup spewed out.
And I was like, oh, I was thinking of trying that. How do you like it? It was like a back and forth,
Exactly.
And trying to figure out what's going to be the best new thing.
Right. We're like, did you try this yet? Have you tried this concealer? Like, what's it like? And she'd be like, well, I don't know, but you know what? I'm going to buy it, and I'll let you know. And then I'd be like, well, did you try this foundation? And she'd be like, no. I'm like, well, I'll buy it, and I'll let you know. So, our friendship, really developed over the love and passion, obsession of makeup. So,
Gratitude.
And, yeah. So, and what's funny is, a couple years back, I was watching Harmonized Beauty, and I was watching her hair tutorial, and I'm like, wow, her skin looks really good. Like, what does she use? And at the time, it was Mascara Beauty. And I'm thinking, okay, back in my mind, when I start to run out of products, I'll purchase them because her skin looked amazing. And at the same time, not realizing mascara had changed to Seint, Michelle was telling me, hey, I'm starting to use this new makeup. It's amazing.
It's great, 3D cream-based makeup. And she's like, that sounds so familiar. I keep watching videos about that.
Yeah. And then lo and behold, it was the same exact makeup. And one of the things, once Michelle really, she loved it from the get-go.
Yes, from day one.
And you're like, I'm going to become an artist. And I'm like, oh, I know. This is good then. Yeah. This is good stuff.
It took me a bit, but finally, I was like, all right, it's just time to do it. I love makeup, so what am I waiting for?
Exactly. And the one thing is, we want to say we're in our 30s, but we're not. We're in our 40s.
Not,
yeah. And one fun fact is our birthdays are one day apart. So I'm June 1st. She's June 2nd. So one thing is I noticed with a lot of makeup, and I know Michelle also experienced this, is when we're applying, no matter what products we used over the years, we always experience dryness, cakiness, settling in the fine lines. And now with maturing skin,
you definitely want to be more careful.
Exactly. And that's why I love Seint makeup, is because I see a huge difference. I see it hydrates my skin. Where I used to get really bad dryness and cakiness here, I don't get that anymore. I used to get flaky areas on my nose, and it looked bad because it's at the end of the day, it's oh my gosh, and
it's second skin. You don't even realize that you have a lot on either. I guess because it's like they say, less is more.
Right. But
still, it just gives you that natural feeling, and it doesn't look like you have a lot on either.
Right. It enhances your features and your skin, and so it's your skin is almost, I would say, it does glow.
It glows, yeah. It gives you that natural dewy look. And I think that's what I love best about it too, because the creator of Seint, Cara, she's awesome, and she's all about, you don't want to hide anything. You don't want to hide your imperfections, right? So it's just you're kind of covering them and making yourself feel beautiful and not somebody that you're not. You're being your true self, and she just keeps promoting that. Every one of us is beautiful, and it's just enhancing your beauty too. And that's what I love about this makeup.
Me too. It enhances your features, and it just does something to your skin. It's because it is a wax base. And I just feel it has so many more, the ingredients in it are pretty healthy for your skin.
Yeah, they're all natural. Yeah.
And compared to other, you're looking at other foundations, and it's within a few hours it's separating. It just doesn't feel natural.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where I feel with Seint, it was a game changer for me. So, I start off with just a few things, right?
I loved when she did her first order.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. And of course, she didn't want help, because you could do a color match, so I can kind of help you build the right palette. But no, Jackie didn't need the help because she knew exactly what she needed.
So I started off with 4 colors, and then it just went a little overboard. Yes. Here's the thing, it gets addicting because you get one, you're oh, look at the lip colors, look how pretty. Oh, I need more, more pinks. because I'm a pink girl. And then, then it just kind
Then
of...
they came out with the little mini tins, and they're so cute.
And then I quickly grew out of my little 12-pan palette, which I save for travel, but then the eyeshadows.
Then, yeah, forget it.
Forget it, yeah. So these are the colors I'm currently using. And eventually I will expand, because it's an obsession.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the colors
start
are
with
so
the
pretty.
few, yeah. And that's what I love, because you don't need to buy like a pre-made palette.
Right.
Like you pick the colors that you want to, which I love.
Me too.
So it's like you're not forced to get, because there's like Jackie and I both had like the Naked palette, and then like the new version that would come out, and then the next new version. And then like I just remember being in the gym and we'd look at the palette and it was like there's only a few colors that we used all the time.
3 to 4.
And then the rest of them we didn't use. So
Yeah.
it's like you're wasting it. So with this, it's great. It's like it comes in like a little tin like this. So you're picking out like your colors that are right for you. So this is like one of our main highlights. But then even like with the lip and cheek colors, like everything comes in like a little packet like this. So it's just easy, and you customize it for what you want. Not like you're not going to get a color that somebody else picked for you, which I love.
Right. And that's the problem where we have so much makeup in the past, was because there was maybe 2 or 3 colors we want in that palette.
Yeah.
But you had to buy the palette, and then half of it gets unused, it gets tossed, and it gets wasted. And I was getting frustrated because I used to buy these. I mean, there are so many beautiful palettes out there.
Oh, yeah.
But it's sad because you're only going to use maybe half if you're lucky. I know true makeup artists really get a full worth, their money's worth out of it. But with me day to day, I don't use the entire whole palette. So this is where I like you pick your colors of what you would use every day, or if you want to glam it up a little bit, or just do basic looks. So that's what I really drew me towards it, because then you are getting your money's worth at the end of the day.
And I feel like it's very comparable to like a lot of the other skincare lines too, in the makeup.
Oh, for sure.
Like when you first get like your color matched on, and your artist will let you know like what colors you need, main highlight, brightening highlight, and all of that. At first it's going to seem a lot, but it really isn't, because once you run out of that one tin, you're just replacing that one tin. And this, for the main highlights, this is what, $12 a tin, and it lasts at least like 3 to 6 months, depending on how often you do your makeup and everything. So it lasts a while. So it's really not like compared to, like when you get like a big bottle of foundation that you're spending like $40, $50 on.
Right.
That's almost like equivalent to this when you think about it. So it's really like your first initial is a little bit higher because you want to buy brushes, and you don't need all the brushes either.
Right.
You know
the
what I mean?
They're amazing. They're great.
They're great, and they're like a double-ended like brush and everything. So it's great. So you're getting 2 brushes for the price of 1. And this brush here is the 3D brush. This is the one that I started out with, because when I first started with Seint, I was like, all right, I need to start out slow. I've got probably like 2 or 3 brand new brush kits that I haven't even touched, plus all these other makeup brushes that I've had. And I know Jackie's right there with me. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm buying 1 brush, and that is it. And this brush can do everything. So once I started using this brush, I'm like, oh my God, their brushes are amazing. And then of course, like one thing led to another. And then I started buying like my next brush I bought was like the buff brush, which I love. So I did that. And then all of a sudden I wound up getting all the brushes, because they do really help. Like I said, you don't need them at first, but I feel like you need at least 1 to start off with, because it just helps blend the makeup a lot better too.
And some of the brushes they do have, like when I was placing my first order, if you order a contour color, a bronzer color, you can get a combo where the brush did come with it, and you save a lot of money.
Yeah, you almost get like the bronzer for
free, right?
Because I think it was, trying to think, the bronzer collection is $40. So you get the blush and bronzer brush that Jackie has there, and then the tin of bronzer of your choice. Yeah. So you're basically getting the bronzer, I think is like $4, because I think the bronzer tin is $14. So yeah,
it was a great deal. I thought.
And they have the same thing like with the powder brush too, where you could do the powder brush again, double-sided, one for the highlight powdering, and then the others for contour. And then you get the tin of the dusting powder too. And again, I think that one's like $42. Yeah. So again, like you're getting almost like something for free.
Right.
And it's great to get the brushes because at first I wasn't really using the powder brush as much, but now I started using it more. And then what's even better is that like once you actually read like what it actually is supposed to do, like what side, it works a lot better. So Jackie and I were just talking about this and I was like, oh my God, like now like when I use this for like, to kind of touch up and use it in the right side in the right areas, I'm like, oh yeah, it does really work great.
It does. I know, and I was getting them mixed up a little bit, but once you get an idea of, you learn like this is a powder end brush, or you can use this for contour, you can use it for so many multi-purpose, when you're applying makeup. I just feel like it's, you're paying money for brushes, but you're getting a lot of use out of them.
You are, yeah.
Yeah, because they're dual-ended, so you do get, versus like, you're having all these separate brushes. And don't get me wrong, I still use some of my other brushes from other brands, but I feel like these brushes work really well with the makeup, and the application, it just enhances it.
Yeah.
I feel it makes it go smooth, and it just really brings out, your features and stuff. So
yeah, exactly. No, I do. I love the brushes. So if I had to pick 3,
oh, that's a hard one. That's a hard one.
Just for face, maybe not for like including eyes. I guess I would probably go with the buff brush is like my number 1 fave. So this is like kind of like for a fuller application, but I love using this for my color correcting. Then this is actually one of my newer favorites because when I first got this, I wasn't really using this one as much. So this is like the brush and bronzer, but I use this one like every day now. I use the blush side to blend in everything. And then even like when I'm done with my application, I like to use this to kind of go around. Like if I'm traveling and I don't want to bring like my stay spray with me or whatever, if I'm just bringing a small one, or if I don't want to bring the sponge, like I could spray the stay spray onto this and just kind of like dab it like along. So I do that, or I can, even if I don't want to bring my powder brush, I use this too.
Yeah.
So I use this for so much more than I originally thought.
Me too. Yeah.
So that I love. And then I do love the detail brush.
This is such a great brush.
This one is great for your contour. Like I love using this for the contour. So you'll get to see later on like how to use this different ways to help with your contour. But then some people I've watched recently using this for their entire face too, to even blend everything in.
That's talented.
I'm like, I haven't gotten that comfortable with this one yet, but I like this one mostly for contouring.
Yeah.
But
the brushes they're all fantastic. But you're right. Like my 3, I would have to say is the blush and bronzer for sure. Especially blush. I just love this blush brush.
right, yeah.
This one is
that's the 3D brush.
That
brush is amazing. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah. This I use to blend everything. I do my blush separate, so I use it for that. But this, like with my main highlight, which is actually the foundation color, and contour, I usually blend this in. But then when I got this brush to do contour, I'm like, ooh.
It just, But the 3D brush is amazing. Because like you said, I mean, if you were to travel and can only bring one brush, that's definitely like the one to bring, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely for sure. And one of the things, what I really love about this makeup is how quick it is to put on. I mean, you could take your time and, really go in and be meticulous about putting on your makeup. But if you need to get in and out of the door, you could get this done in minutes.
Oh, yeah. Like easily under 5.
Like
without eyeshadow, I did a challenge and I was able to do 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a little stressful, but that's just because it's me and I do like to take my time with my makeup.
Me too.
But it's so easy to do with under 3 minutes. And it's great for like people on the go too, because if you have to take your kids to like school or sport and you don't have time to do your makeup, like you can easily just grab like your one palette and be like, all right, I'm going to have everything in this one palette that I need for the day, and then grab your 3D brush, run out the door, and you've got everything. You could sit in the car and do your makeup.
Right.
Like so easily, like in under 5 minutes.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Let's show them.
Let's go ahead.
So one of the colors that I use for my main highlight, which is the foundation, is called Candlelit. And I feel like normally that's one important thing about being color matched is you look here and you think, oh, I know what color I am. And then you get the color, you're like, this isn't my color.
It's not going to be,
Yeah, it's never true to what you see in the pan because when you apply it, it comes on a little different. So that's one important thing I have to say. It's so important to get color matched.
Yeah.
And it's so quick and easy to get color matched. But I feel like that's like one of the most important things. And even a makeup pro will tell you that. Like it's so important to get color matched. So I do use Candlelit as my winter spring color, but then as I go to summer and fall, I switch to amber. And I do mine a little bit differently. I apply a little bit of the highlight foundation around, and then I go with my contour. Do you do like, I know some people, everyone does it differently.
Yeah, there's like no right or wrong way how to do this makeup, which is great. Like you cannot mess up with this makeup.
Right. Because
even if it looks like you do, it blends in so easily and you just correct it. You just keep blending it in even more.
Right.
So for those that do want to get color matched, all you need to do is stand in front of a window and making sure that the sun's kind of like shining in. You don't want to do it on a gloomy day. And take a picture like looking right out the window and do a selfie with no makeup on at all, because that's going to be the best way to get your true color match. And I could post some pictures later of some like good and bad examples of what a good color match is. So Jackie's lucky because Jackie's got like amazing, beautiful skin. I have to start out with a little bit of color correcting. So I don't mind, my palette here is a little bit of a mess. So I use Aspen here, which is actually one of our contours. And that's another thing that I love about this makeup. It is so versatile. Like you can use like your lip and cheeks on your eyes. You know, you can use the contour as a lip liner, as a color corrector. Your lip and cheek color could be a color corrector. So it's just, you could use it everywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in like where I have a little bit of redness here. And I am just lightly like stippling it in to kind of cover up. So you could see how like on this side here, I have some redness. So once I put that Aspen on, you could see how easily that just covers it up. And I'm not using a lot.
Yeah, like I'm just dabbing a little bit and then just pressing it in, spreading it with the brush.
So I'd like to kind of go over my nose a little bit too, because I feel like it kind of helps with my pores, because I do have big pores on my nose. So I do like to go a little bit over there too.
And before we did the video, we did prep our
skin. Oh, yeah.
We washed and prepped, yeah. So we
washed, prepped.
Yeah, I put a little SPF in also, just because it's a really nice, beautiful, sunny day. So I may go out. Well, I know I'll be out sometime today, but so I use oh gosh, what is it? La Roche-Posay, I think, SPF.
Oh yeah, that's a great one too. I know. I like I use a couple different ones. So I do like the Supergoop.
Oh, that's my next on my list.
I do like that one, and I also like the Ulta MD. And it's just very important to always wear like sunscreen, like every day. Like that should be just part of your moisturizer, because I feel like there's like you don't want to age your skin, right? I mean, you want to be so cautious, so it's like
preserve.
Yeah, exactly. Like I want to age gracefully, so I'm gonna like make sure to cover my skin.
That's the one thing I wish I did. I mean, I did wear sunscreen when I was younger, but I never thought about putting sunscreen on, on your ears, on your neck.
Yeah, like all of that.
All of like in your chest area. It was usually your back, your arms, your legs. But I noticed the sides of my neck are aging faster than my face is.
Oh, I know. Because it's like the little things that you didn't even realize that. Yeah.
And now I realize it's just so important to implement, like every morning, make it part of your routine. Because, a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah.
Under my eyes, I am using a demi color just because I have dark teardrops. And rather than put, like before, I used to put on a ton of concealer and keep concealing to cover those dark tear trough areas. And it aged my skin. So I realized just like a little bit of the demi color, and I use RO3, just a little bit really conceals it, and it takes away that shadow. Not 100%, but a million times better than what my old routine was.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, I used a tiny drop. How's that possible?
Like, I know.
It's
it
like
just
unheard
covers
of.
it up. Exactly.
It gets it really good, and it's like, it's impressive.
Yeah. I know, and that's like one of the other things too. I'll use something different since Jackie's going to show you one of the demi colors. She actually uses the demi more than I do. But I have this one that I use too, that I use for underneath my eyes, to do like help with the brightening, or if you have like some bags or discoloration under the eyes. Since Jackie's showing you that one, I'm going to show you a different thing that could be used too. So one is Frenchie here, which is one of our lip and cheek colors. It's like a peachy color.
She's amazing.
I love that. And I love it as like
great.
lip and cheek. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my ring finger. Because whenever you're doing something underneath your eye, you always want to make sure that you're using your ring finger too, because that's the lightest pressure. You don't want to pull that skin, because that skin is so sensitive. So I'm just kind of like going in and just kind of like pressing it into the skin. So you could use a brush.
I usually prefer my fingers too.
Yeah.
It just gets in. It gets.
But I like
but
I like when you're doing the demi. For some reason, I do like it better with the brush, because I like how like she's getting, and that's a great thing like with demi too, is that you could use demi on your entire face, because that's just hiding like the tiny imperfections of your skin. So you're not putting it like all over. So see how she was just doing like a line and then kind of blending that in from there.
And I'm just gently patting it in. And also, when you put the makeup on, it does warm up to your skin, and it just, I don't want to say settles, because it really doesn't. Almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, because
it like kind of like
just blends right in.
Yeah, like just melts into your skin. Yeah.
Right. Whereas like concealers, I feel like they just sit and then they fall
and then
the
get
crease.
like cakey, and you get the creases and like all of that too.
And then you see yourself aged like 20 years within an hour, like all in here, and it's like, oh, you went through all that work to put makeup on.
I know, and now now it's like, now I have to go back and like fix it again.
Yeah. And where I feel like it stays in place. It just doesn't age your skin like where I felt like other makeup in the past I've used.
Oh, I know.
And like drugstore brands, high end, like all kinds.
It doesn't matter what. Yeah, exactly.
Because in my mind, I thought, oh, you spend like, $85 on a foundation, or close to $80 something on a foundation. You're gonna look 20 years younger.
Nope, doesn't
Lies. Lies.
So one thing I am gonna do, so I do have oily skin. So I do use a primer on my skin. You don't need to with this makeup. It all depends on your skin. So when you're first starting out, I would recommend, just try it out, like with just your moisturizer, because a lot of people do not need a primer. And if you don't, why are you going to add an extra layer if you don't need to?
Right.
Some people will use our Stay Spray with the Perfector sponge. So this is a damp Perfector sponge. So I did wet it, and then you're making, like, it's very like lightly wet. So make sure you don't want it too wet. And all you need to do is just put a couple squirts on there, and then I'm just like lightly going through and tapping it onto my skin. So with this, I'm kind of setting the color corrector that I put on my skin. But for some people, they'll start out doing this like before they prep for their makeup.
Right.
So this, like the Stay Spray, kind of gives you that like primer feel. I guess a primer. What's the word I'm trying to say?
Like a base.
It helps you like kind of set your makeup.
Yeah.
So it's starting to bubble there. It's so weird.
I'm just going back over and I'm just patting everything in and kind of blending it gently in with. So the one thing is like with Seint is in foundation they call highlight, right?
Yeah. So you have, there's like the three, so it's a 3D, like 3-dimensional makeup, because like when you think about it, nobody has the same skin color like throughout your entire face. Right. So you want to have like your contour that's going like around like your forehead, down along your jawline, your cheekbones, because you want to accentuate those, and then your nose, where you want to contour your nose, make it look thinner, or whatever it is that you're trying to do. And then your main highlight is the one that's closest to your skin tone color. So you're going to put that in the other areas, like where you didn't put the contour, but you're not going to do it down the center of your face and underneath your eyes, because that's where you want to use the brightening highlight to kind of open that up. So you want to open up your eyes and you want to draw to the center of the face, right? So you want that pop.
Right. So like highlight is equal to foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And Illuminator is what a highlighter would be, right?
So,
and then
yes, so the Illuminator, so we've got a lot of great Illuminators.
Right.
So we have some cream and then some powders. So once we get to that part, I'll show you some great ones later.
Yeah.
I'll put them on my skin so you can kind of see them a lot better.
A lot of great colors.
Yeah. So
I'm going to go in with a little bit of contour. And I never contoured before because I would just go in a bronze and that's it. But I actually like, because it does add that little shadow. It kind of chisels your cheeks and thins out your jawline, which I really like. And a little goes a long way. Like, it may look like we're putting on more of it. It's like we're basically dabbing it.
Yeah.
And then just
and that's the thing too. Like you're literally like just touching it.
Yep.
You're not like smearing it onto your brush. Too.
Right. And like this one I've had, when did I place my first order?
Oh my God. It was like back in, I'm going to say like September.
I want to say it was August, probably September.
Yeah, like August or September.
And I've been using Astoria since then. And it's been what, we're going to be in June soon. Yeah. So 10 months.
Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's what I love, because it does my main highlight and my brightening highlight are probably the ones that I go through the fastest.
Yeah.
Like let's put it this way. So Bella Bronzer, which is this one here, I purchased that when I first started using Seint, which was November 21.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, and I still have some left. So it's
a little goes a long way.
And I use Bella pretty much every day, except for when they started coming out with some of the other bronzers, like tan lines here. But that's what I love. Like when I first started using this makeup and I saw some of the colors, I'm like, bronzer, this Bella bronzer is going to be a hot mess on me. Hot mess. Way too dark.
That's
not gonna work.
Yeah.
And then even when I first got color matched, the initial contour that they told me was
because it looks scary. Yeah.
So this is the first one, and I'm like, oh my God, that is too dark. That's not gonna work. And she's like, I'm telling you, it's going to. And I tried it, and I was like, oh my God, it's not dark enough. Like, so then I switched over to Astoria, which I absolutely love. Obviously, because that's like this one here, and I do need to melt that down because there's like barely anything left in there. But that's another great thing with this, is that you're literally using every last drop of this makeup, because we'll show you in like another video how you can melt your tins down and it looks like they're brand new, like you're just starting out.
It's amazing because all the product is on the edge, and you're brushing, you're trying to get your finger in, but when you put it, you could put it on like a candle melter or on like a sheet pan, and you just let it melt, and it just all evens out again, and it's like ready to go.
Yeah, exactly.
You're resurrecting your makeup versus like just tossing it.
Yeah. So I'm going to start out, like Jackie said, we both do our makeup a different way, but there's no right or wrong way. So today, as my contour, what I'm going to use is actually the Bella Bronzer. So this is a good thing. So you could use a contour, you could use a bronzer, whatever you're really in the mood for. But I feel like with the summer coming up, I kind of want like that summer glow.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I know I'll probably still wind up using the contours too, but I just feel like this just kind of gives me that, we're kicking off the summer. It's Memorial Day weekend.
Right. And like a lot of times Michelle and I are on video conference calls on MS Teams, and before people are like, oh, Jackie, you look so tired, and I had makeup on. And I'm just like, that's it. I'm kicking up the highlight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, I need a little bit more.
I'm going to blind you now. So I do go a little heavy, especially with the blush. I'm very heavy-handed with the blush, and I've always been like that.
Yeah.
In the
I know.
highlight.
I wind up going back in. And like I'll add like a little bit more. Like once I'm done, I'm like, all right, I need to add a little bit more.
Yeah. So like I want to look like the New York City Rockettes, like when they're dressed like as the soldiers and they have the big, like,
exactly,
pink cheeks.
big,
That's me. That's me. Yeah.
I love it.
My husband's like, whoa, what's going on there?
So here, like I'm like just literally like kind of throwing it on. I'm slapping it on. But with the cheeks, you want to make sure that you're putting it like right on the cheekbone. Normally you could do like a better line than what I did, but it's fine. So I'm just going to blend it in. And then I love this little trick that I learned. So if you kind of squeeze the brush like this and you dip it into your contour that you're using, and you just like press it on the side of your nose, and then see how it just kind of like goes right in the areas that you want to do. So you're kind of contouring your nose. So just pressing like kind of like a stamp. Although no, I just got it. That one didn't work as good, but that's all right because
you blend it.
And I like, because my nose started like, the older I get, I feel like it's spreading out. So I actually like to put it on like the sides of my nose too. And then a lot of people, if you put it like underneath your lip too, because it kind of gives you that shadow and makes you look like that pouty lips.
Oh, you gotta show the trick with the two lines.
Oh yeah,
that is my favorite trick that she showed me.
I'm like doing after after I blend.
Yeah, then you go back.
And then I need to so if I forget, remind me to do that later.
That's like my favorite trick. I can't believe how it emphasizes right above your Cupid's bow, like the two lines that you have. Oh, it's such a pretty look to it.
I love it. Yeah. So now I can go in because sometimes like there's the cheetah hat, which I'll show you in another time.
There's so many different ways you can apply it.
And I feel like that's a good way to kind of learn because then you learn like exactly where the makeup needs to be.
Yes,
right?
For sure.
So as I blend in my contour, I want to make sure that I'm kind of blending up because you want to make sure that you don't have that, it goes into your hairline so you don't see those lines. But then you also just kind of want to stipple it. So you don't want to over blend. And then when you come down to your jawline here, you want to make sure that you're brushing it down. So you're kind of like, I kind of go back and forth and then bring it down into your chin area there. And then like when I do the cheeks, I like to kind of like flick it up. And I'm not going to fully blend it in just yet. I'm going to wait till I put my main highlights on. My main highlight and my brightening highlight. Sorry.
And the one thing I like, we talked about is this makeup is, like right now it's not quick because we're talking about it. We're talking to each other.
Yeah.
But when you're in a pinch and you just got out of the shower, you have less than 10 minutes to get on a call and you're like, I gotta do something.
Mm-hmm.
I usually put it on with my fingers and I quickly blend it in and I have a full face of probably in 7 minutes.
Oh yeah. If not less. Yeah.
And it looks like you spent hours on it or, 45 minutes on it. But that's what I love. It's so easy. And it's like, you don't have to use all your brushes. Like you can use your fingers and you can use a blending
You can
sponge.
even use,
It's so easy.
There is the smudge brush here, which is another great one to do the cheetah hack, which I'll show you in a separate video. But this is a great one, which I'll actually do it now because I'm going to go into my main highlight, which is amber. So this is great because you could just go through and put the brightening, your main highlight exactly where you need it. So I'm just dipping it in and I'm putting it between where I put that contour. But I'm not going down the center of my face because that's where I want to do my brightening highlight. So you're just literally just slapping it on is what you're pretty much doing, right? And then I'm going to I could use the same brush and go into my brightening highlight, which right now I'm using Moonlit here. So I love Moonlit and I love Versailles.
Oh,
That's like one of
Versailles.
my favorites. So I like to use Versailles like after I do my eye makeup and just kind of touch up underneath.
Okay, this one is Versailles.
It is gorgeous, and it's gorgeous
so
on
pretty.
any skin tone.
Yeah.
I love it.
Because who would have thought this color would match my skin tone?
Like, yeah, you would
Never.
think it's like too light, and
Right.
no, it just looks gorgeous on.
It really does. It's such a great color. And I tend to have hormonal breakouts. And who would have thought, like, in your 40s, you still get breakouts, right?
Yeah, it still happens.
It still happens. So, and actually, who would have thought, like, the color mango would help diffuse that red, that redness, and how it goes and cancels it out is amazing. Like, it just blurs it out.
Yeah, mango is like an awesome color corrector.
Yeah.
Because it's good for blemishes. It's good for under eye circles, like the
Yes.
darkness. And it is like a main highlight and a brightening highlight for a lot of people too. It's just such a great.
I do use it for
Yeah.
sometimes for my under eye. But then, like, right around here, I have, like, chin breakouts. So it's like I'm going to go in and just kind of spot touch it and then just blend it out. And it just goes so nice. Like,
Yeah, and it just blends in
cancels it
so
out.
easily. And that's how, like, I would make sure to do like how Jackie did. Like, she did her face first and then goes in afterwards to kind of touch up those certain areas, because you want to make sure that you're not doing it beforehand. Because then you're just going to blend it in and it's going to defeat the whole purpose, because you're going to need to go back in and do the same exact thing, kind of touch up those little like imperfections.
And it's not, it's what I like about it is, like, you can tell when people do cover up. It just looks like a cakey mess in that spot. And I feel
it's like, in this you don't, because you're like literally using the tiniest bit.
Right. And it helps blur it out.
Yeah.
And you can keep going back in and, applying a little bit more and then put powder to kind of set it. But you know what? I just feel like it's summer. It's, just a little bit.
Yeah, and
just
you don't want
kinda,
that makeup, that heavy makeup feel.
Right. I'm like, we got enough going on. We
Yeah.
don't need heavy. And I just wanted to share a fun fact about Michelle is that Michelle is a licensed esthetician, so she knows a lot about skincare and So
I'm finally doing something with it.
Yeah. So, like, in addition to being a makeup junkie, we are both skincare junkies.
Exactly.
It is bad. Like, we got between her house and my house, and my husband could probably attest to this. He's helping us videotape. We got like a mini like Sephora going on, like with
without a doubt, yeah.
It's insane.
It's
And Scott actually made it fun to me. He's like, "What? How did you word it, Scott? Like, you have something for lines for like this, for that, and this and that." He's like, "How many do you need?" He's like, "Guys are so simple. We just use hand soap to wash our faces."
But it doesn't work that easy.
No. Like, the one thing is, like, we, when you get to a certain age, you realize you got to start preserving what you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Because otherwise, you miss that window of opportunity. And
eye cream is so important, and I wish I knew that like in my 20s.
I was using,
because I was probably using it, but later on in my 20s, and probably not all the time.
I was using it wrong. I was using eye cream in my teens because my mom, and my family, some of my family may be watching this, but my mom said, "You don't want to look like your aunts that are sun worshippers." So she said, she meant it in a good way. She's like, "You want to make sure you're protecting your skin," and so I would use eye cream, but I would only put it on the top of my eyes, not underneath.
Oh yeah, no, you need to. See, now I feel like a lot of people do the opposite. They only put it underneath and forget that you need to do the top.
Yeah, I always did at the top.
Yeah.
And what else? I used to do a lot of face masks. And my friend used to make fun of me. She's like, "What are you doing with a face mask? You're only 14." I'm like,
doesn't matter. You have to start young.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. So I went in and I blended everything. So I'm going to go back in with my perfector sponge. So it's still damp, and I'm just kind of like pressing it in. This will kind of get rid of any excess too, that you have.
And I know sometimes throughout the day, like you're running errands, you're like going out for long walks. It's a hot day.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing stuff around the house, and you start perspire.
Yeah.
And even with powder or whatever, and I just feel like sometimes you just want to kind of quickly freshen up. I just take a damp sponge.
The sponge.
And I just go like this, and it's like
it's good, yeah.
You're like good to go. It looks like you just put your makeup on again. So
that, and then the other thing I noticed too, like, because sometimes when I travel, I don't bring that because it's just like an extra thing, and then if it's damp, like when I'm leaving, I don't want to wear it.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've used too is the fluffy end of the 3D brush.
Yes.
That's another good one, like in the afternoon, like when you need to just kind of like touch it up because it's like you're getting a little oily.
Yeah.
That helps too. But I love my favorite is the Perfector sponge.
Oh yeah.
That's like an absolute must.
Yeah. And I do have the Perfector sponge. It's just I'm trying to use what I have up, use up what I have. And that's the one thing about it's great with this makeup. Like you can use up what you have and incorporate it. So, you know,
it doesn't always have to be just Seint.
Exactly.
You know?
Because back in the day, I used to do Mary Kay. And I just felt like you had to use Mary Kay products. Like you couldn't like explore anything outside of that world. And even though I thought the products were, you know, good, I think that's what turned me away from it. Because like I wanted to try
you wanted to try, exactly.
I wanted to incorporate other things with it. And, you know, we were told you weren't back then. This is going like back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like with Seint, it's just you can incorporate what you have. You can build what you on top of what you have with more Seint products.
Great.
And it's great. And it keeps it affordable. And I just feel like, and it lasts a while. That's what's like so great.
Oh, and I love how like you only need to replace like whatever you need, not like an entire thing.
Right.
It's great.
And one thing I want to share is like, when I was asking for recommendations on blushes, someone recommended, I don't know if it was you or Sherry, recommended Dahlia. But look how pink this is.
Yeah, it's so
and I was like, you know I love pink.
Yeah.
One of the best pinks I think it's out there is this one. Oh, and also Black Cherry.
That scared me at first. When I saw that, I was like, there's no way I'm trying that.
So here's the thing. If anybody has ever used Clinique Black Honey, this is almost a dupe. I think this is even better. And you look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, no. But it's a sheer. It's such a beautiful sheer color that I think it was one of the first colors that you wore that was like, what is that color? I need that now.
And it was like one that I never thought I would have worn at all. Like it just...
So it's amazing. Some colors that you never think that would be your favorite becomes your absolute favorite.
Exactly.
And when I go in with, so these are lip and cheek, so you can use it for your lip and your cheek, and you can even blend them, which is nice.
Yeah, mix them together. You could use them on your eyes too.
Exactly. I haven't done my eyes yet, but I was thinking of doing Bella bronzer with Frenchie.
That is fun. I love Bella on the eyes.
Yeah, so Bella's the bronzer, and we've seen people, I know you've used it.
So, yeah, I actually did that the other day.
Yeah.
That's what I use, like, literally... Like, if you're in a rush and you only need a couple colors, like, you could put in your palette, your main highlight, your brightening highlight, and Bella.
Yeah.
And be good. Because Bella could be your contour, it could be your bronzer, it could be your eyeshadow. I mean, it could be, like, everything.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's such a great color. And so I just put on my cheek color, which is the color Dahlia. And it is like really bright, but here again, like I love bright cheek colors because I feel like after a few hours, I kind of look pale again. So I want to keep it lasting throughout the day. And I know they say less is more, but hey, it's like what you prefer, what you like.
Yeah, exactly. Like everybody, and that's what I love too, because there's people that want the natural look, so you go with your natural look. People that want like brighter cheeks, so you do that. It's what you want. There's no right or wrong way. Like you're not being forced to do it just one way. I love it.
And let's be honest, makeup junkies, we wake up for makeup.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's the highlight of our day.
Especially during COVID, I was like,
yeah,
I couldn't believe that I was still getting ready. But I'm like, oh my god, I just learned this new trick. I gotta try this. Like I couldn't wait to get up in the morning. I was like, I want to try this new trick.
And it's like, hey Jackie, can you do like an MS Teams call? I'm like, yep, let's make it for 8:30 in the morning. So my makeup.
Give me time. Yeah.
So I'm trying to put my makeup on and look nice and fresh, but. That's like was exactly during COVID was our highlight. It's like, oh, let's use our makeup.
and then we'd be on team calls together, and I'm like, Jackie, what color did you put on your lips? Yeah. Like, what color do you have on your eyes?
Right.
So it was like, ooh, what color are we gonna do today?
What highlight did you use?
Yeah,
because you like blinded me.
There's some that are a little scarier than others. So.
Yeah. Hey, whatever it takes to.
Yeah, exactly. So I did go ahead and while we were talking, I put on my Bella bronzer. So I try to put that like kind of like where the sun hits you. So like on your forehead, down the center, and then like along like the outer part of your face here. And now like I line my lips. Actually, what I'm going to do is because I want to show you guys too. So first I lined it with one of the contours. But I want to show you too. So Heat Waves is another one of our bronzers. So this one still kind of scares me a little bit. Not gonna lie. But I do love it. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to use our line brush here. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to line my lips with it. Because I just want to show you like how great this could be. So depending on like what colors you want to use. So of course if I'm going to use like this brighter or darker line lips, like I want to make sure that I'm using a darker color. I don't want to use one of our lighter lip and cheek colors.
And I'm just going in with my powder brush and I'm using a little bit of Vanilla Dust, which is a setting powder. And I'm just lightly just going over my temples to kind of hold, keep everything in place. And I really like it because it doesn't make me feel cakey.
Yeah.
And
it's like a nice light.
Light.
Yeah.
And you can use it as a base eyeshadow, which I do a lot.
Mm-hmm. Especially, yeah, for those with like oily eyelids, I really love it.
Yeah.
Like it kind of gives it that good setting. I'm also going to go into Heat Waves and I'm going to go add a little bit more contour because I think I like over blended my contour a little bit. But I do love using Heat Waves as an extra contour for the cheeks. So I'm just going in, right? And it's like, because this color could be scary, like for people like me with that fairer skin, but it works. Like I feel like I'm going to go in and blend that. But since I'm like in this area, I'm going to go in and do the little Cupid's bow thing that Jackie was talking about earlier.
It's one of my favorites.
So I'm going to go in with my, this is one of our demi brushes, this spot brush. So I'm going to go into my contour. So I did use Bella, but I'm going to use Astoria as the contour to do this. So I'm going to go down. You know, there's like those two lines that are like right underneath your nose that go to your mouth. So I'm going to go.
And I also use the same color as my contour Astoria. That's such a great color.
It is.
It looks scary and it's intimidating, but it shears out so
nicely.
It does,
yeah. Because I actually started even going darker to like indigo here. Like that. Like you easily could because you've got the darker skin tone. Like I actually started using that more often too than Astoria.
Yeah.
So it's like once you get used to it, you could just like kind of play around.
Yeah. And create such a pretty definition.
Yeah, but see how, so I'm just going with the fluffy end and now it just defines it a little bit more. And you can go in and too, like if I wanted to go underneath here and give it like that shadow.
It's so pretty. And it's like the blush color I used, Dahlia, it's like sheared out. It's not, I don't look like the Rockette like I wanted to, but
like, I know you like it.
And you could just build on it. You could add more, or if you want to shear it out, you could just blend it out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's such great colors.
All right, let's see. So I need to use a darker color. I'm going to show you guys Black Cherry because we talked about it. So like I said, this is like that darker color. So I'm going to go and I'm going to dip my finger in. I'm just going to put 3 dots like right on the apples of my cheeks. And then I'm going to use that same color and I'm just going to put it right on my lips.
I'm going to add it to my lips too. Like whatever I had left on my ring finger from my cheeks, I had put on my lip. Mm-hmm. So now I'm just going to go over with Black Cherry. It's such a pretty color.
It isn't. See how like it's not as dark as you like when you first see it. You're like, oh my god, there's no way I can use that color. It's not. Like it's just a nice sheer, beautiful. So now I'm going to go in and I'm just going to blend my cheeks and then kind of blend in that extra contour that I put too. Just kind of give it that definition.
And I'm going to put a little bit of eye primer on my eye. I meant to do that before. Should we do a separate video for the eyeshadow? Yeah, we could do basic. Why not?
Because I feel like this goes on long.
It's okay. We'll do like a quick eyeshadow because we're debating, should we do a separate video, but we'll incorporate it all. I actually put too much of. So I'm just using the Milani eye primer, and actually Michelle has the one that I love. It's the Urban Decay primer.
Love this primer. I always use this. And the other thing I do too, like when I'm putting on my brightening highlight, I'm sure you guys noticed that before. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of that on my eyelid too.
Oh yes, and it gives such a, especially under your brow bone. Oh, it's so pretty. And that's one thing I forgot to put. Can you believe I forgot to put highlighter on?
You can't even tell. It looks good.
I forgot to put like.
You could do it under
Illuminator. Oh, I gotta do that.
I would do it after you do your eyes.
Oh,
couldn't you go in and you brighten up underneath?
that's true.
Could do that.
Yeah, I could do that too.
Do whatever you want.
That's what great thing is about makeup. You could do it how you want it, and whatever order you want.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just putting like a base light color eyeshadow on my eye. It's the color I'm using is just a color so similar to the Seint one, which is Cupcake.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just trying to use this one up. I think it's like a Wet n Wild. I don't even know what it's called. Like it's creme brulee. It's like a
Probably, yeah. It sounds like.
I
I know.
It's like a very light vanilla color, and I kind of use that as like just the base. And I know there's so many beautiful eye looks people do and have that, like that artist hand for it.
Oh, I know. Like there's just so much.
Gosh.
Yeah.
It's just amazing and how talented they are. Me, I'm like,
I know. It's like I'm just
I'll do a
gonna
little bit in the
like
crease.
yeah, exactly.
A little bit of the crease, a little bit on the lid, we're good to go.
Yeah. So I like to also dust some of the vanilla setting powder on my eyelids too, just to kind of prep it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now too. Because I do have oily lids and I do get a lot of creasing. So I feel like even with the primer, I sometimes have to put a little extra.
Yeah. So this is always my struggle, is deciding like what eyeshadows to use. But I was going to be good today. So I have my main palette that, like, if I'm traveling, I just try to stick with this. Doesn't always work because I wind up bringing other stuff. But this, like, if I was literally had to run out the door, this palette will have everything that I need. So it has, like, my color correcting, my main highlight, my brightening highlight, my contours, my powder, contour to help fill in my brows, and my lip conditioner, some basic eyeshadows, the perfume, which I do love. So it's actually like the rose gold illuminator, but it's scented. And then I put like one lip color in here. So it's like, it has everything I need if I needed to just run out the door.
And there's times where you have like because Michelle does travel a lot.
Yeah. So I
there's
try.
times where she's on a plane and she's putting on her makeup.
I did, and it's so easy to do, and I love it.
Yeah. So it's like that extra time you could spend sleeping, and then just grab what you need. It's already gonna be in your your personal carry-on anyway. And like, just why not save that extra time and do it on the plane?
Yeah, and it's like you're not taking out like, oh, I need like this bottle, that bottle, this and that. Like everything is just in one easy spot. I love it.
It's amazing.
So I feel like I'm gonna force myself to use only the colors that are in here. And I feel like I'm addicted because I feel like I've been using these colors like all the time now. And they're probably one of my newer ones that I've had. Yeah. But I love like Cafe and Pup. Like Pup is like, I'm in love, and I don't know what took me so long to get Pup. But I love Cafe too because I could put this like all over like my eyelid and it's not like super dark. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you just like, you get worried. Yeah.
It does look a lot darker. And Pup is on my list. Like there's a few that like Pup Cupcake, which is like a vanilla.
Yeah.
And oh gosh, what's the other one? London? No.
London is a pretty color too.
London.
I love
I think it's
London, yeah,
London.
because
Yeah.
it's similar to amethyst here, and I love amethyst.
So
Amethyst
pretty.
I use there's so many colors that I thought I would never use. My palette's a mess because I had a little incident. I dropped my palette. Of course, it had to be the one with eyeshadows, so it kind of got all over.
Of course, it's always the case, right?
Eve right here is one of my favorites, and I would never think.
Yeah.
Eve, and then there's cranberry, so many different colors, even Moscow here. This orange color, I would have been there's no way.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous on.
It is such a pretty color.
So I'm going to start with Pump. I'm just going to put that all over my my lid. And the eyeshadow is great too because it's another thing that blends in so easily. So you could start out light and kind of build. If you want a bolder color, you could use your finger and kind of dab it in. You could spray your brush with the Stay Spray and it'll make it a little bit brighter. So I'm just going to play around. So now I'm going to go in with Cafe and I'm going to put this all over my lid. And I want to make sure, because I've got hooded eyes, so I want to make sure that I'm going a little bit over the crease, because if not, when I open my eye, you're not going to be able to see that color, right? So, but see what I mean, with that Cafe, it could easily go over
So
like
pretty.
that. Yeah, it's
And
it's not super dark.
And I'm using Mama, which is a light new. I would say it's a neutral taupey purpley color. And I'm just doing that in my crease, and I'm building it up because it is a lighter color, but I'd rather build up with lighter colors. If I'm just going more for a natural look. And then on my so this is the hard part. It's okay, what color do you put over?
I know, what do you want to do?
They're so
yeah.
pretty. There's Venus. I think I'm gonna do Venus.
Oh, I love Venus. Venus is one of my favorites. I do like to go under and smudge a little bit, underneath.
Yeah.
My eye too. I usually go in and I'll add more. And then I'm gonna go, trying to think, because I want to show you something that'll kind of pop a little bit more.
Michelle does such great eye looks. The colors you come up with is so pretty.
Thank you. I love playing around with stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use Sis here, which is a really pretty pink. So it's similar to Mama too. I love Mama. Sis has a little more glitter to it than Mama. Mama's more of that solid, natural.
Color.
Yeah, which I love too. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to start with the fluffier end, and I'm just going to go towards the inner corner to the center, and it's not giving it as much. I'm going to do it on the same eye, but then I'm going to show you something else that you could do. So you could either take the smaller end of the eyeshadow brush and kind of dip that in, and that kind of works to do it, give it a little bit more, or I just dip my finger in. So see, I have a little bit on my finger, and I just kind of stamp that into my eye. And then it just kind of gives it more of that.
And on the corner of my eyes, I used Aries, which is a really pretty shimmery. It's a cross between a champagne, pinky, purpley.
That one is one of my favorites. I love that one.
So pretty.
I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a little bit in the center too, that. I feel you could see a little bit more of the pop. So there's a lot of great, two colors too, because I said, the eyeshadows could be very overwhelming. So I do like to have those two color combos too. So if I'm in a rush and I don't want to have to think, because Jackie knows we're both Geminis, decisions, and especially when there's a lot of good options, not good.
Yeah, especially when they're shimmery.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to decide what we're gonna go with.
So I like to always have those two color combinations too to kind of help.
And just on my eye, I'm just using an Urban Decay Smoke Out eyeliner. And I know people say don't pull, but it's the only way I can.
I have to be careful with pulling.
I know.
Now I'm going to go in and smudge a little bit more. I'm actually going to use a darker color. Use oak, which is one of our darker browns, and smudge a little bit underneath.
Oak's such a pretty color.
I know, I love that. I'm actually going to go through a little bit on the corner. So this is what I love too. Like you can literally like just put a line like this.
There's so much you can do with that.
Just make it like look messy and like people will be like, oh my god, what's she doing? Right? But I just love how like you just blend it in.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I did my eyeliner right, but that's okay. And you know, it's funny. Every time I go to do mascara, one comes out like flawless. The other one,
yeah,
comes out clumpy, and then I get it on my lid. I can never get it right.
I know, it never comes out perfect.
I know. It's just like your eyebrows.
Yeah.
They're not twins. They're related, but they're not twins.
Here. So sometimes I wind up going back in and then I'm like, I add too much color and I'm like, oh, why did I do that? So I'm going to like stop with what I have here. I feel like I need like a little more like pop. So I'm going to figure out.
Shimmer.
I know, I'm like,
And I'm just going to use with, I have a dual-sided spoolie, and I'm just going to go in with like a little bit of the eyebrow wax. And just gently go over my eyebrows. I do tend to have very bushy eyebrows. But, you know, being a teenager in the 90s, you tweezed and tweezed and tweezed.
Yeah.
Not thinking the hair will always grow back. But as you get older, totally different story.
Definitely much thinner. The other trick I love to do too, and like shows how versatile this makeup is too. Like, so we've got several different cream illuminators. So I have 5 of them. But what I love to do is put this like underneath my brow. So I like using that like instead of like an eyeshadow now, because I just feel like it gives it like that really nice pop. So I'm gonna use Angel. So this is like the pink one there. So I'm just gonna dip my finger in. And I'm just going to go like right underneath my brow bone there.
And I use Angel as my, it's called Illuminator, but it's equivalent to a highlighter. I use it on my upper cheek bone area. And I'm also going to put some of that in my, right below my brow line, my brow bone. And it just gives a nice hint of shimmer just when you when the sun hits it.
Yes, like when you turn, you can kind of see. So I still need to do that. I usually do that like towards the end. But I do need to fill in my brows. So there's a couple different things. So sometimes I'll use like my brow pencil. Sometimes I'll use like one of our contours. But today I'm just going to fill it in with brow pencil.
And some people use, there's a demi color called, let me see, NV+1, and it's like a very dark chocolate, and some people do tend to use that to color in their eyebrows. I had an incident where I had my eyebrows done, and they took a little too much out.
That happened to me, and then it never grew back.
Exactly. So it's slowly grown back. So I was using it to fill it in, but it did a nice job filling in that spot that was MIA for a while.
Yeah.
The things that we go through. I was like, oh, geez.
I know, and I love like the brow wax because it just kind of helps like set the brows.
Yeah.
And a little bit goes a long way. And if you feel like it is like too hard, you could always put like a squirt of the Stay Spray.
Yeah.
To kind of loosen it up a bit. Alright, so now I'm going to go in. I'm going to touch up underneath my eyes because I like to go in afterwards, and then I'm going to probably wind up putting on some more eyeshadow like underneath my eyes because I just like to add more work for myself. But I like to use like
the makeup. That's why you love makeup.
I love to use the blend brush to go back in because I love like this side. I just go in. This one I go back into her side, so I just kind of like touch up underneath my eye because you know you have the eyeshadow just kind of sometimes gets like underneath, and I just love using this fluffy side because it's so soft and it just blends it in so nicely, and then it also like kind of draws up here too, so you're kind of like giving that like nice bright.
Yeah. And I just have to brag, Michelle has one of the best mirrors. It's called the Ricky.
I love my Ricky mirror.
Gonna need one. Meanwhile, I have this like little mirror over here. And I'm like, it does nothing except, you know, just collect dust and like, I gotta get a Ricky mirror. That thing lights up. It's so pretty.
I really want like the bigger one because this one I love, but sometimes it's like you need like a little bit more.
But it's good for travel though.
It is, yeah.
If you get to travel.
True.
See, I'm telling you, we're the worst influences on each other because we're like, you need it.
You need this, you need that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just go in and like touch up. I'm gonna use the tan lines. I just like to add like a little bit more glow.
And one of the things that Michelle was telling me about is how good their skincare is. And I kept saying, okay, I'm going to try it because, you know, as we all know, I'm a makeup product junkie, nail polish junkie, handbag junkie, you name it.
Yeah.
And right now they're running a promo of 20% off. So I figured, well,
now's the time to try it if you're going to. Yeah.
Right. And my first mistake is I actually ordered the travel size, not really. It's a travel size kit, and I didn't realize it was a travel size kit, so after I ordered it, and I was like, oh.
But the good thing is, though, with the travel size kit, and I actually, at first I wasn't sure if I wanted it, but I am going to order it, because these are actually refillable, which is great. So you only need to buy it once and then refill. And then the other good thing is, like, you get, like, this, like, how cute is this little mini, like.
It's adorable.
Kind of like the, oh my gosh. The moisturizer I can't even use. Like, it is so cute. And then you get the roller. You get, like, the jade roller with it. And I'm like, oh, my God, I love that. And that's great to travel with, too, because of the size.
And then you get 4 super soft. I don't want to show Scott because I'm afraid he's going to take them to use them on his car detailing. But
I love these microfiber cloths.
You get these microfiber cloths. These are amazing. Like, you just wet it and your whole makeup comes off. Like, it's just.
It's so... So I was doing, like to clean your brushes, they work amazing.
And they wash like brand new again. Yeah. So you get the kit. Actually, it came in here in this box. You get the I took it apart though. I pulled everything out. So you get 3.
3. You get 3 cloths.
You get the jade roller. And you get the small size cream. And you get the 2 travel size cleanser.
The cleanser and the toner.
And then I went back in and I got the full size cleanser and toner, and
then you get the full size of the cream. Yeah.
And I got the mask, of course. Of course. Yeah. You can't.
So the mask is separate from the skincare set, but the mask is also 20% off right now, and that is going on through July 15th, I believe it is. So it is a great time to try the skincare line. If you're thinking about it and considering it. So it's awesome.
And Michelle has done like Facebook videos on the skincare, and you know, we're skincare junkies. We talk about like we spend how much on La Mer, how much on high-end stuff, and you know, we used to wait for those like 21 Days of Beauty Ulta sales just
I know, and look to see like, oh, what's gonna happen, like which one am I gonna try today?
And we're getting the same results in here.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, you know, such easy packaging. So I'm excited to try it because I hear so many great things about it, and I see people have used it, including you, and it's like your skin looks great. So
yeah, it's definitely like, and sometimes it takes a little bit of getting used to too, like your skin adjusts, and you know, people freak out because then like you break out. Well, yeah, you're gonna break out when you're using a new skincare line.
Of course,
it's like bringing out all the impurities of your skin and things like that. So like, don't freak out right away, you know, because I was getting like these little like things like under my nose, and I was like, oh my god, and I was like, duh, like this is normal, like stop like freaking out about it. So I'm done now. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of the powdered illuminator. So I'm gonna use Georgia, and I'm gonna use my blend brush here. I'm lightly tapping, and then I'm just like putting it right on underneath, like kind of like right on that bone. And lightly, like you don't even need a lot. And then I like going down the center of my nose and then right on my Cupid's bow. So it just gives it like a little bit of like shimmer when you're, turning and everything. You see that? People like using the illuminator too, like on their eyes, which is great too. Like if you want to, add a pop, like an inner pop in the inner corner, you could use it underneath your brow bone. Like there's so many different great opportunities that I just love. Like trying it, like just playing around with it too.
Right.
So I love your eyes too. Like I love the sparkles.
Thanks. Yours look beautiful too.
Yeah.
I like it because you can use it for so many different things.
Yeah.
And when you're traveling, you don't want to bring so much makeup. You're like, oh, I'll just bring a powder illuminator.
Mm-hmm.
Use it for your highlighter. Use it for eyeshadow. Use it for just that
exactly.
little extra pop of color in your skin in your makeup routine.
Yeah. I know, because even if you wanted to do if you wanted to use one of the small palettes and just do 4 colors, you could do your main highlight, brightening, Bella, and your like a powder illuminator, and you have your whole face right there. So it's awesome.
Because I think you do too. We used to have like 2 separate travel bags, or like the biggest cosmetic bags you could find.
Yes.
One was just full of just cosmetics. Then you have another one of all your makeup brushes, and then another one of your skincare and your toiletries and all that stuff. And that took up like half your suitcase.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And now it's like I have do you have like a 12? Yeah, that one.
I do.
The top one.
This one here.
Yeah. Yeah. So like normally, I don't know, the little one.
Oh, this one here.
Yeah, like I would just take this and then like the 12 pan one, I think it's a 12 or 18 pan. It's smaller than this. It's like here.
This one here.
Yeah. I would just take these 2.
Yeah.
And that's it. You're done.
I know, then you have everything.
Everything you need.
Yeah. Nice and
it's
easy.
Amazing, yeah. Versus like, different color compact eyeshadow compacts and
all the compacts,
foundations,
the bottles, and then
concealers.
Can you bring your foundation on the plane? Can you not? Like, is it too big? Is it this? Is it that?
Yeah.
This is all TSA friendly.
Yes.
Like you don't have to worry about anything. The only thing is just, of course, like the bigger bottles, but that's why these smaller bottles are great to travel with.
Yeah.
So.
And they're refillable, which is even better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which I love.
So. It was so much fun having you here today doing Get Ready with me.
I know. Thank you so much.
The makeup. I'm going to leave Michelle's information contact down below. Michelle, also, I'm going to put her link to her Facebook and also to TikTok because you do a lot of great videos. Get Ready with me because I do look forward to seeing those. But there's one thing I really want to emphasize is that this makeup, one of the reasons that really drove me towards it is it's great for maturing skin.
Mm-hmm.
We do see a lot of younger people using it in their 20s and 30s. But when you get to your 40s and your 50s and your 60s, I just feel like this makeup really helps your skin. And
you don't want that cakey.
Yeah, and that was where I was really starting to struggle with makeup. Is I was seeing so much cakiness and dryness, creasing, and it just emphasized all like the crow's feet. And I'm just like, how is makeup helping me if I'm looking like this?
It's accentuating what you don't want it to accentuate.
Right, and it was just it was disheartening, and frustrating because you're spending time putting on makeup, and then I noticed with Seint I don't have that issue anymore, and it was just like total game changer for me. So, so I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch this video, listening to us get ready.
Sorry, it took a little bit longer, but.
Hey, we love to chat.
Yes, we had fun, and it's makeup, so we just like to talk a lot more.
Exactly. We could be here all night, and my husband would be like, "When's dinner?
Yeah,
be ready."
It's time to cut it.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone, so much for watching, and we hope to see you at our next video.
Thank you.
Thank you.